The Fuji X-M5 is an incredible camera, but straight out of the box, I felt that the control layout was really holding me back. In today's video, I'll show you the key changes that I made to unlock its full potential and to make my shooting experience faster and more efficient. Before I can show you how I have my camera set up, I first have to show you how the control dials function. So this camera has two control dials, the front and the rear control dial. And they can each be customized separately according to each one of the P, S, A, and M shooting modes in order to suit your preference. The rear mode dial, or command dial, is simple, and just when you rotate it, it simply changes the setting that you have it programmed to. Easy enough. The front dial, however, is a little more complicated in that when you rotate it, it will change the setting that it's currently programmed to, but you can program up to 4 different settings onto the front dial, and it actually presses into the camera body like a button, and this allows you to cycle between the different different settings that you have it programmed to control. So if I'm rotating it now and it controls aperture, and then I press it, it could then be controlling ISO, or film simulation, or white balance, or the various other settings. So now I'll walk you through how to program your command dials. So you'll press the menu button to pull up the menu. You will go to the left side, scroll down to the wrench, which is the setup menu. You'll come over to button/dial setting, and then you'll scroll down to command dial setting to program your command dials. As I said, you have to program this individually for each one of the P, S, A, and M modes. And so, for example, for manual mode, if I wanted to program this, I'd select that. And you can see these first 4 settings all apply to the front command dial, and the rear or top dial only has 1 setting. So I have that programmed to shutter speed, I have the front programmed to aperture, and then if I wanted to, I could program these other ones to ISO and exposure compensation. And then to show you how that works, let's go back to shooting mode. And here you can see that as I rotate the front dial now, it's changing my aperture. But if I press it in, it will cycle over to ISO, and now I can change ISO with the front dial. If I press it again, it cycles to exposure compensation. And you can't see me actually changing this because of the black screen and the fact that I'm in manual mode. But it would change exposure compensation, and then back to aperture cycling through again. Now, the reason I don't use it this way is that I found that I accidentally bumped that front dial a little too much, and so I like to have it programmed to one thing and one thing only. And so you don't have to use all these banks. You can set these additional ones to none, and now the only thing my front dial will control is aperture, right? And so you would just go through and program each of the modes the way that you want to. My logic here, though, is that I have my manual mode set up the way that I like it, which is aperture on the front dial and shutter speed on the rear dial. So they each only have 1 function. I always know what they do. I can never accidentally be changing the wrong setting because I didn't cycle through to the proper one. And the reason I have it this way is that I'm an old school Nikon shooter. I learned to photograph this way, and so I don't actually enjoy using the aperture ring on the lens. I myself prefer to use the command dials in this manner for aperture and shutter speed, so that's how I have it set up. And then my logic for the rest of the modes is just to keep it consistent with that for muscle memory. So in aperture priority, the front still controls aperture, and because the camera automatically selects the shutter speed in this mode, the rear is now exposure compensation. Going to shutter priority, the rear is still shutter speed, but the camera automatically selects an aperture in this mode, so that is now exposure compensation. And then when you go to program mode, where the camera automatically selects both aperture and shutter speed, I have the rear set to exposure compensation and the front set to program shift. I'm not going to go full in depth on what these settings all mean in this video, but if you want me to do a beginner video on the exposure triangle in the future, let me know and I would be glad to do that. Moving on to custom function buttons, the X-M5 only has 3 physical buttons that you can actually program, and those are the AEL/AFL button, the record button, and the Q button. And so you can program the custom function buttons by going to the menu And once again, scrolling down to the wrench on the left side, that represents the setup menu, go to button dial setting, function setting, and then you'll see here that it has a slot for each one of the custom functions you can do. These 4 here are touchscreen related. We'll talk about those in a minute, but the 3 physical buttons are the record button, which I have programmed to be my ISO control. And the reason for this, like I said, is that when I had it on that front dial with my aperture, I accidentally kept bumping that and changing the wrong setting, right? I would turn the front dial thinking I was going to change my aperture, and I would change my ISO on accident, or vice versa, and I found that to be very annoying, so I gave the ISO a dedicated external control on the record button. And this works for me because if I'm shooting video, I'm usually in a dedicated video mode, and so I can just use the shutter button to initiate start-stop recording as well. I don't need a dedicated record button on my camera. I have the Q button set to face eye detect. This is a setting that I need somewhat frequently, but not as much as the Q menu. And so I put it on this button up here that's a little bit hard to get to with the small rig thumb bracket in place. And then I moved my Q function down to the AEL AFL button. And the reason for this is that, like I said, that Q button up there is a little bit hard to press, and this is just more accessible. And so now if I sneak down in here and press this button, you can see that it turns face eye detect on or off, and this button is now my Q functionality. And so I can access the quick menu that way. We'll talk more about the quick menu in a few moments. And then again, you can see the ISO button brings up my ISO menu with a dedicated external control, which is super nice, super handy. I have the exposure triangle all on their own dedicated controls now. Moving on to those touch functions we talked about, going back into the menu here, you can see that you can program swiping up, left, right, and down on the touchscreen, all to dedicated function settings. And you can set these up however you want. I have mine kind of assigned to some random things because I don't actually use these very often. I'm kind of old school. I don't like relying on the touchscreen because a lot of the time if I'm using the camera out in the rain or with gloves on, if I relied on these too heavily, then I won't be able to access them in those scenarios. And that's just not acceptable to me. So I tend to not use them all that often. So now that we're done with the function buttons, I want to go ahead and talk about the Q menu. This is a quick access menu that is completely customizable to suit your shooting needs, and there's a lot of personal preference into how this is set up. You should know that there are separate Q menus for photo and video modes, and so right now I'm in manual mode, but if I switch over to a video mode, you'll see that the Q menu looks different, right? Now you see that it's my video settings that I need, which are a little different than what I typically need shooting photos. Now we're back in photo mode. It brings up my photography Q menu. And so the way you set this menu up, there's actually a couple of different ways. The primary way in the menu is to go down here again to the setup menu, go to button dial setting, and you'll see edit save quick menu. This one is photography with the little camera on the side. This has the video symbol, so this is the videography quick menu. And now when you select one of these, you'll first select how many slots you want. So you can have 16 slots if you want a whole lot of settings on it, all the way down to 4 slots if you only want a couple of settings. I like 12 for my photo menu, and in my video menu, I have it set to 8 because I just don't need quite as many settings quickly accessible, right? So that's how I have it set up. And then, so once you select this, you would select the number of slots, and now you can scroll around to each of these, and when I click on it, it brings up a list of options for what I can program to that spot, right? So if I wanted to change this to self-timer, I could. I don't though, so I'm just going to back out. Now that's the first way to program this menu. The other way, the shortcut, is whatever button you have programmed to access the Q menu, whether it's the Q button up here from the factory, or whether you've reprogrammed it here like I have. If you hold that button down, it will also bring you into the option to edit these options, right? So now instead of, if I just press it, you'll see it opens up the Q menu, and now I can just change these settings to whatever I desire. But if I hold it, it doesn't do the same thing. I no longer can just change settings here. I can, though, click and I can reassign what each one of these spots controls. I don't want to make any changes, so I'll back out, but that is the other way that you can edit the Q menu. So how do I have mine set up? Well, if you look at it, the top left will pretty much always control the shooting mode. And then moving over to the right, I have these two here paired up to control white balance. So this top controls the pre-baked in modes. And then if I set it to a Kelvin value, which I do frequently, then I can use this next spot down to set a custom Kelvin white balance. Over here, you can select AFS versus manual focus versus continuous autofocus. And then the slot below controls the AF mode as far as zone versus single point, that stuff. Over here, I have my AI slash automated settings. And so here you'll see this is face eye detect on off, and I have that group right next to subject detect on and off for pets, birds, that kind of thing. Coming to the bottom menu, I have brightness, and then these two are the dynamic range settings for the camera. This is dynamic range priority, and this is if I want to manually set a dynamic range. The reason I have these here is that these are actually some settings that bake into a RAW file and don't only apply to JPEGs, so I want to make sure these are correct and know what they're set to while I'm shooting. And then over here I have my shutter mode, so that if I need to shoot silently or for whatever reason get back into manual shutter for shooting with flash or that kind of thing, I have the option to change that quickly if I need to. So that's how I have my photography quick menu set up. And then if we switch over into a video mode, you'll see my quick menu looks different. Here, again, shooting mode, manual versus program, aperture, shutter priority, all that kind of thing. And then same face eye detect on off in the various settings, AFC versus manual focus and continuous focus, all that. White balance and Kelvin just like in photography. AF mode multi versus wide tracking, area, all that stuff. And then I can also change my my internal mic levels if I'm using the internal mic. And so that's how you program your Q menu. And like I said, there's a lot of personal preference that goes into how you set these up. Not everybody's going to set them up the same as me, and that's okay. This is just what works for my use case. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That was a quick walkthrough of how I have my camera set up and how to customize the controls of your camera to suit your shooting needs. Go ahead and check out these other videos that I've made recently about the Fuji X-M5, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to help support this channel and keep me making more videos. Thanks, and have a great day.